Hi, Laura. All right, we're going to work on your forecast. So, to give you a little heads up, your forecast will be divided up into 4 sections. And what we're going to do today is look at your progressions. We're kind of going to set the stage, and then we'll put the actors on the stage. So we'll do progressions first. Then we're going to look at your solar arcs. So that's going to be part 2. And then in part 3, we'll look at your solar return, which is why I asked about the cities. And then part 4, we'll do your transits. So we should sort of be able to kind of create a little play. It's going to be a little play of your life this year. So first of all, just to refresh my mind on your chart, I sat and looked at it for a little bit here. And Sun in Aries, of course, up in the 10th house, conjunct Mercury, Chiron, and Ceres. And so this natural desire to be thirsty for knowledge and for information, especially Chiron is Virgo energy and Ceres is how we feed ourselves. And so this natural desire to want to know and to understand about the self and one's life path is natural with this kind of displacement. And the 10th house, of course, being Capricorn, there is a sort of a call with the sun in the 10th house to do something with our life that is noteworthy. Like don't be a slacker, right? So we feel like we are supposed to be doing something that we can be a little hard on ourselves even sometimes. There's a lot of ambition with this, but there's also the other side of feeling at times like, it's not ever quite good enough. But it is one where there's the ability to attain eminence in the life if one so desires. Your Aries planets are ruled by Mars and Pisces in the 8th. And Mars in Pisces it's how you take action, Mars, of course. And in the 8th, it adds a Scorpio intensity. It adds even more of a desire. The desire is usually even stronger with Mars in the 8th, especially as the ruler of the sun. It's akin to having Pluto making aspects to the sun, but it's a Mars in Pisces. And so Pisces, there's a quality of feeling our way through life with Pisces, having to kind of go with the flow, kind of having to figure out what it is we're wanting. Releasing and letting go is a big theme as well, learning how to do that. Letting go of control, learning how to let go of control of things and being okay with outcome. When we look at your moon in Cancer in the 12th house, there is that emotional nature that is intuitive and very sensitive, and one that could even at times we could feel emotionally vulnerable or feel like our feelings could be hurt easily and by others, or we could at times feel like we could be taken advantage of by others. And so that is squaring your Chiron and Ceres up in the 10th, and it's squaring Uranus down in the 4th. So if you had experiences as a child that were like ones where you couldn't rely upon circumstances, you couldn't rely upon maybe the mother or just your childhood to give you a sense of feeling safe the way that a moon in Cancer needs to feel safe. It's possible that through career and through sort of your reputation or how you see yourself, you may have a strong need to have not control, but like to be free to live your life the way that you see fit. But you might also have a little bit of anxiety about how you're doing that, like how you're following your path. Okay, Leo rising, so your sun is your chart ruler and in the 10th. Beautiful, up in the sky, up above you at the moment you were born, and the moon is rising. It's really lovely. Okay, now I would say as far as progression, so we're going to first look at your progressed moon. You've got your progressed moon in Aquarius right now in the 7th house. It's at 10 degrees. And the progressed moon shows where we're at in our emotional development. The moon is, as humans, emotion is what makes us human instead of robots or angels, right? Like we have these feelings. Emotion is here to help us to dive down deeper inside of our unconscious. Like dreams in particular are a place where we can learn more about our inner unconscious world. It's amazing if you think about the part of us that's conscious is just the little top of the iceberg, and then the unconscious mind is huge. So with moon in the 7th, we tend to be focused on partnering with other people. We tend to be focused on relationship issues. Now you have Pluto in Libra, so 7th house is the Libra house. Your relationships with other people might be undergoing a little bit of tension. There can be some power struggles. There can be some issues with others where there's just like this noise almost with other people. And you had asked about your stellium. You said, or other people's stelliums, how they fall into your fifth house. Now, you're having them fall in your fifth house. Stelliums don't necessarily mean in synastry that there's going to be irritation. It also depends on the planets. But if they are Scorpio planets, because you do have some Scorpio in the fifth, there could be power struggles, and that could definitely be irritating. If they're Sagittarius planets, there could be themes of Sagittarius on the shadow side can be a little, they know everything, or they can be, how do you say, they can preach, they can be preachy, they can be, the type where they're telling you how to live your life. The sun is the ruler of your fifth house, and your sun in Aries in the 10th house does not really probably like being told how to be. Like Aries individuals usually are like, okay, thanks, yeah, I got it, I got this, I don't need you telling me how to be who I am, kind of a thing. Sagittarius can also be flighty. They can not be dependable. They can, so again, it depends on the planets, it depends on the signs. So stelliums it just concentrates, their personalities, and it sort of concentrates and constellates them all in a particular energy, a particular type of expression. So again, yeah, you'd have to let me know let me know, and I'll let you know what I see. But you also have your North Node in Sagittarius, so their stellium is going to fall on your North Node, and that's where you're supposed to be moving to in this life. So it's not always comfortable energy. It can be even shadow material. It can be stuff that that we are trying to move into, but we're not yet there yet. And so these people can be reminding us of the failure in that area. Your North Node is ruled by Jupiter up in the 9th too, so that's Sagittarius. You yourself probably have an opinion, and it's in Aries. You yourself probably have an opinion about how it is, what you believe, and what it is you're wanting to do with your life. It just feels like, thanks, I didn't really ask for your advice. That's kind of how that feels. So I don't know if that's how it's playing out, or if it's that they're the over the top, like promise way more than they can deliver. That's also a Sagittarius trait. Or if they're Scorpio, power struggles. So it just depends. All right, but back to your moon, the progressed moon. When the progressed moon is in Aquarius, Aquarius energy, okay, so Aquarius and Cancer, okay, because the moon is the ruler of Cancer, they in conjunct one another. They don't share a modality, they don't share an element, they have like kind of nothing in common, okay? So, and they're really different energies. The moon is about feeling safe. It's about feeling emotionally secure. And where are we at in that journey? And whether that's feeling emotionally secure in a relationship, because this is the 7th house for you. When the moon is moving through the 7th house, we might even project our own emotional, perhaps need for independence during this 30 months while it's in Aquarius. We could project it onto other people. Now, Aquarius moons, and my mom's an Aquarius moon. I know a lot of Aquarius moons for whatever reason. They're very unpredictable. They're emotionally a little crazy making. I need a concrete example of this. I mean, in fact, I did a little study. I was just kind of curious. I was pulling up all these different celebrities who have had histories of like kind of crazy behavior. A lot of them have moons in Aquarius, or a moon making an aspect to Uranus, or a moon in the 11th house. It's a theme, and we're searching emotionally for freedom from the need to feel unsafe, okay? And with that comes behavior where they sabotage relationships. There are projections that happen where they project onto the other person their stuff, and when the moon's in the 11th house, that tends to be kind of a theme during that stretch of about 30 months or so. And it's been there for you for about 8 months, looks like. 8 or so months, or 9 months actually. So if you've been having this stuff lately with your flatmates or coworkers, the moon is our domestic situation as well. So people that you live with, and Uranus is in your 4th house. That's home. That's your domestic life. So there might be a lot of stuff happening that you might want to go down in the basement of your unconscious stuff, because you're the one that has Uranus in the 4th. So there might be stuff that you unconsciously are projecting, in your relationship with them. That maybe they're showing you some parts of your shadow that you don't want to see. Because anytime we're irritated by someone, they're just showing us stuff that's our stuff, Once those things are integrated and brought to the surface and we've released them, it's always material that we are not expressing. So let's just say I don't have any idea what's happening with your roommates, but let's say you have a roommate who's just not paying rent on time or something. They're being just irresponsible. There could be a part of you, Uranus down in the fourth, that wants to be wild and free and just do whatever you want to do and not pay your rent on time. But but you have a sun in the 10th house, which is like a placement for someone who's pretty responsible, usually. So you see, it's like the shadow material, if you flip it and you say, okay, what is it about what this person is doing that reflects something that I'm repressing in myself, and how can I work on that thing in myself? So hopefully that's helpful. I don't know, somehow. Okay, and if you can let me know what's happening with them, maybe I can help. I can help you look at it in a little more detail. Also with progressions, we want to just look and see, basically the planets move very slowly in the progress chart. It's just basically a day of life from the day you were born for every year of life. So the moon, of course, moves about every month. It moves a degree, but everything else kind of just, the sun will move about a degree per year, and the other planets will slowly slug through, but you don't have anything. I'm just looking for some exact aspects here that we want to worry about. So one second. Mercury, you've got a little Mercury Ceres sextile. So Ceres is the natural ruler of the second house. It has to do with resources. It has to do with how are you going to take care of yourself, how are you going to feed yourself, etc. Your Ceres is in Aries in the 10th house, and let's see, the progressed Mercury. You've got it. Oh my gosh, where is it? There it is. In the 11th. It's about to conjoin with your. Won't worry about that actually. So that looks like it's about to scoot out. It's going to be in about 5 years. Never mind. Just checking angles and stuff here. So Ceres up in the 10th. Ceres it's our security. Think of it as sort of self-esteem, a sense of security, a sense of I'm supposed to be here and I'm like going to survive in this setting, And it's sort of, how do I feed that? How do I feed that beast? Well, you have it conjunct Chiron, which gives an element of, it's a kind of a wound. Chiron is a wound. Chiron is, it's the wounded healer, but wherever Chiron falls, we tend to pick at that part of us. We tend to analyze it. We tend to worry about it. We tend to, want to make sure that it's healing. But it's like picking at a scab, kind of, So when it's conjunct Ceres, that's the ruler of the second house, which is a house that has to do with money. It's also accidentally the ruler of the 11th house, which is, our group associations with other people. So there can be maybe a little bit of anxiety in this area. And it could also be an area for you to pull up, go down in the basement of your unconscious where your Uranus is hiding, 0 degrees of Scorpio, and to do some work on your own relationship with freedom, your relationship with crazy-making behavior. Okay, that's going to be kind of the themes over the course of this next 12. Well, you're currently at 10, so another 20 months or so of this. And it's going to be through relating to other people. A lot of projection can be happening, where we blame other people for our own stuff. Or it's so great when we get bothered by someone, because that's where you go, oh, okay, let me take a step back. This person's bothering me. And even if what they're doing is like legitimately irritating behavior or whatever, it's still fantastic material to work on your shadow. And so I would say that's kind of the themes for you right now. Now, as far as you're going to have like transiting Jupiter is coming to conjoin with your IC, and that's, trining your progressed moon. It could exacerbate situation with what we're talking about, sort of having more opportunities to have to kind of examine oneself. And that Jupiter is also going to station retrograde on your IC. So definitely in the home domestic scene is going to be where this crazy making behavior might be happening. Jupiter in the 4th can also bring improvements in the home life. It can bring like a bigger place, or we could find a place where a better roommate, or we could find, we might fix our place up a little bit. make it more enjoyable, more sort of conducive to the one-on-one kind of hanging out with friends and things like that, because it's in Libra. So it's a good energy. It's just Jupiter energy just can be big. It can be like overwhelming. Just look and see. The other good thing is you've got transiting Saturn moving into your 6th house. That'll be nice. That's going to be, this year. Before the end of the year. It's been in your 5th, which is it's a time where we're working. It's like all work and no play. It can sort of feel like either our love life takes on kind of a serious tone, whether we're in a committed long-term relationship, but it's like more of an adult. It's not the fun, romantic, playful type of relationship. And also because the 5th house is your sun. It's ruled by your sun. It has a lot to do with the way that we look at ourselves. And so it's kind of a period where we're kind of growing up. And you had Saturn, it would have been like last year or so, conjoining with your North Node. And so kind of like maybe a focus on what is it I'm doing with my life? How am I self-actualizing? And I would say that this moon in Aquarius is meant to teach you how to own your stuff so that you can be free from feeling captive emotionally to other people's weird behavior. So it's going to be kind of, I think, the themes. Okay, now as far as just looking at if there are any other, we don't have any other progressions that are, no other ingresses. Okay, Venus is at 22, progressed Venus is at 22 of Cancer. So this one's important. I know you care about these things. Considering you've had some relationship readings done. So progressed Venus shows us a bit about our love life, and you've had progressed Venus in the 12th house for a long time. Last year was conjunct your moon. So Venus in the 12th, we have progressed Venus. The themes of Pisces kind of overlay our love life, and we might be really idealistic about what it is we're looking for in romance, and we may feel like that perfect person, there's an elusive quality to Venus being here. So, and last year it also, your moon squares your IC-MC axis. So last year it would have been squaring that. So I don't think it's hitting anything directly right now. You've got a little square to Ceres and to Chiron, and it's still considered within orb, but it's separating. It's approaching a square with Ceres, and that looks like that will be next year for you. And Ceres, again, remember that's our security. It's our sort of our self-esteem too. Venus is helpful. Venus square to Ceres would be one where we would feel like we might have a desire to kind of, reinvent ourselves to a certain extent, especially if Pluto and Capricorn will be also not exactly making a square, but it'll be approaching a square to your MC IC axis. So big changes it looks like for you as far as maybe work and career and home life over the course. Like this is more 2018, but also this year, towards the end of this year, you're definitely going to be within orbs. So I wouldn't be surprised if you made some big shifts with who you lived with where you work, with career. We'll talk about that more when I don't have enough information. We'll talk about it more when we look at the solar return and whatnot. But okay, we're going to wrap it up right here. If you would let me know, as far as this year, just give me some information about what it is you're really wanting to get out of this reading. What is kind of a concern for you this year? If you're just wanting the general, what are we looking at? Well, of course, we can do that, but it tends to be a little more helpful if you have a decision to make, or if, like, should I stay or should I move? Should I stay at this job or should I leave? These types of things. So just let me know if you have anything special you want us to look at and highlight it for me. We'll go after it. Okay. Thanks, Laura. Both TGIF. Bye.